Hey everybody, welcome back to Old Dirty Gamers. Got Rich Stanley, Aaron Burrell, the amazing Terry Hodge with us once again today. I don't know if any of you guys were in there last night. We had some late night twitching last night. Had some belligerent Terry. I loved it.
Belligerent Terry.
I was just informing people when they're terrible because I'm
terrible. Terrible.
Isn't that great and terrible though? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
I'm the great part of that.
The great and terrible. I think we could do
terrible.
that. I think we could have shirts. So it's just like you'd be like, and then like the great and terrible.
Terrible.
I like that.
I like it. Especially, I mean,
good.
it really fits into the Dark Souls kind of mythos.
I agree, and I appreciate anyone who can check that out. And we're gonna do some more twitching, so get ready for more people playing terribly. Me letting them know that they suck.
I think he might actually be the last boss. I think of Dark
Terry.
Souls. Yeah. I think, like Dark Souls 3 is just gonna be Terry's face. It's like when you play Smash Brothers and there's hands, but it's just and every time he hits you, you suck. Why don't you block? That'll be the whole thing.
The
What are you
world.
doing?
Terrifying. But you'll have like Cthulhu.
This
like
game
tendrils.
doesn't
I
care
like the
about
sound of
you, and neither do I.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get to work.
Exactly.
Sorry, boss.
Get it done.
Sorry,
Get it
boss.
done.
Oh yeah, because
In case you guys didn't know, he actually runs everything here. Terry is actually the president and CEO of GlitchSlap. He is.
This company is owned by black people, so stop supporting it right now.
Please give us funding. Please give us funding. Racial equality. Please fund us.
Don't you want to help out some disenfranchised African Americans?
Really, just one.
Just one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like somebody in your family was Hispanic at one point.
Yeah, Odele, I say. We're all represented here, right?
Yeah,
now we're all repping our history.
I don't know. My whole family was we came over after the potato famine, so I don't.
Oi, Megan
know that
Bigora
about
and all that
slavery.
stuff.
Actually, my family's not from Africa. We're all Somali. I'm the captain now. Look at me.
Pirates.
I'm the captain.
You know, there's a setting on Facebook that actually says you can change your English to say English pirates.
Really?
Yeah, you should do that. You should change your setting to say English pirates as your native language.
I think I will just memorize every line from that guy from that movie and play Assassin's Creed 4, the Black
Stop
Flag.
eating.
Oh my god!
Do you know do you know where they found that guy? He was a cab driver in New York City.
Thanks,
They
my
found him.
cousin.
Okay. All right.
His name's James.
And on that
James
note,
Hodge.
He's a great guy.
we're already
James
talking
Hodge.
about it. Maybe we should move on to Terry's hot releases.
Let's bring up the hot release.
Hot
people.
release.
So we're changing up the style of the hot release now because we're in a kind of a dry spell. So we're doing games that
Dry spell.
Exactly. Arizona. Anyways, yeah, he's the comedy of the group. I'm just the looks.
Whoa!
You're the muscle.
Yeah. I don't.
Anyways, this week's hot release is going to be games that came out over the last week and games that are coming out over the next week because there's such a horrible dry spell right now, and they're re-releasing a lot of crap that came out for your PS Vita 6 years
And
ago.
how many games
stuff.
is that?
That's a total of 4 hot releases.
4 hot releases.
4
Pew, pew,
over
pew, pew.
14 days. Over 14 days. But I'm telling you, after that, it's going to really start to pick up, but they're just fucking us right now in new releases.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Hey, look, I don't know about you guys, but the time that we know that almost all of America has 2 weeks straight off, let's not release games then.
Got a lot of free time? Too bad.
There's a holiday where people buy lots of games for kids. Let's not release any decent games in the past month.
They want time off too, I guess.
Well, if you're going to release a game in that time anyways, it would just not work, so why fucking bother?
Oh, that's true. That's what they need. That's why Assassin's Creed came out like a month ago. So they had time to fix it. Now they're releasing a free DLC for it. Now you can play it.
Exactly.
It's not leaving, guys.
Well, getting right to it. Speaking of in the butthole, our first hot release is Warhammer Quest. Yep, for iPad and iOS systems. It's coming out. It came out on the 7th, and it's actually a game based upon a tabletop game. If you've never played like a Dungeons and Dragons or a D&D game, I believe you have.
I was gonna say I could talk to this actually.
Well, please fill us in.
Okay,
Let us
so
know if you've
Warhammer-
never played D&D.
Warhammer. So let's pull back the D&D thing. Let's first start that a lot of you guys have probably played non-game, or not a lot of you, but non-game versus an RTS. So when you hear the word Warhammer, some of you out there may or may not have heard of it. It's the tabletop thing where you buy a bunch of armies. You have one army against another army. Well, they started off with that, and it's huge. Games Workshop makes a ton of money on it. It's probably the only English export that makes any cash. And then they moved on at one point because people said, man, I really want to take these characters that nobody gives a crap about that we kill all the time and turn it into a Dungeons & Dragons game. So it turned into Warhammer Quest. Okay, now Warhammer Quest is a tabletop, their version of Dungeons & Dragons where it's got smaller scale, different types of attacks. Now what this is us moving from that into like 10, 15 years later. If we had the box art up earlier, I think we did, then you would have looked at it and seen that was a really old picture.
Oh, yeah.
It's been around for a long, long, long time. I think it came out when I was like 15, which is...
Really?
18 years!
18 years! You found out it wasn't his? Go ahead.
All right. Gold Digger. I like it too.
It's super catchy, bro.
It is. They play it at weddings, which is kind of ironic. But
they play it at every black wedding and black funeral. In case you didn't.
They
know.
play it at white weddings. Don't.
What?
Yeah, white wedding. They play it there too.
I don't know. I actually haven't been to any black weddings. I don't know what I'm talking about. Black people don't get married. We just shack up. So Warhammer. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna move on back to that. So Warhammer, if we could, I don't know if we have the images up right now already or not, but Warhammer shows the top down like adventure type version of basically taking it from the board game onto the iPad and stuff. Right? Yeah. We have a couple of friends that do gaming stuff. We could do a shout out to like Dungeon Heroes. I think they just Dungeon Heroes. Myco. Yeah. So Dungeon Heroes, they did that too a couple months back. We checked that out too. Shameless plug for my friends.
Yes.
But I think that's
Tiny Kingdoms.
Yeah, Epic Tiny Kingdoms,
Epic
Tiny Galaxies, just pushing out his stuff.
Do it.
So you can tell we're stretching because one of the first things we bring up is a freaking iPad game. Yeah. So it's not like
shit.
Seriously, it's not even like a PS. It's not even next gen game or anything. It's just like here's something you can do on your iPad when you're not playing your actual console.
Yeah.
So,
Theaterism.
Exactly. So much fun. Oh my god.
All right, what do we got next?
Our second release is going to be Duke Nukem 3D for the PS3.
Oh my god!
That's right.
They're even older!
So what this is, it's a compilation of some of the other older Duke Nukem games, and some of them are upgraded to have better 3D graphics, but not much.
I'm sorry, is this an all DLC sale?
No, it's a game that's a package of pretty much every Duke Nukem game.
Is it an HD remake with a bunch of DLCs? Is that what that is again?
Yes.
Again with the goddamn HD remakes and DLCs.
Not that great.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
in your butt.
Stop doing that to us.
I can't even blame 3D Realms anymore because 3D Realms doesn't even own it.
Nope. We did that to ourselves by allowing this to be a thing and buying it. We keep buying games like this.
But you remember it though, right? You played Duke Nukem?
Yeah, I played Duke Nukem. I remember a lot of the there's like a little bit of raunchiness to it. So when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, boobs.
You
know, they said boobs.
There was dancing strippers.
Yep, that's right. You could throw money at them.
Oh, you could. You
could pixelated, so you'd be like, oh, dude, what's the rest of the game like? Oh, who cares?
Yeah, I just like these chicks are getting totally taken over by all these like aliens raping women. Like, it's funny that nobody brought up Duke Nukem. Like, if you want to go back and they're like, games are getting worse, no, they're not. She's not gonna watch this broadcast, but if I was gonna say anything to Anita Sarkeesian, go back and play Duke Nukem and play Leisure Suit Larry. You've seen nothing. Misogyny has gone away. Women can actually be the main characters. It didn't even used to be. It just used to be, am I not raping women in this game? It's not fun. That was the whole game. I didn't understand what it meant because I just said boobies, but
That's
the
what
game
the entire Paperboy series is about. You deliver the paper, then you deliver a little package.
Roll
up on your bike.
Terry's Paperboy is
Pound
all
them
about
out.
delivering his package.
Exactly.
Hot Paperboy release.
Exactly.
Hot paper releases all over your
Stop
face.
by, throw some flavor.
Plays like Paper Mario, but it's really huge.
A little different.
Yeah, just
a little different. Another head is huge. This head's
okay. So
whoa.
That's what we're talking about being led
It's a classy
by
show.
your dick.
It's a classy show, folks.
Absolutely.
What is a Duke Nukem line that you can remember him say? Go, Eric. Right now.
I'm gonna rip off your head and shit down your neck.
No one blows up our chicks that lives.
Hail to the king, baby.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's what's
That's
funny about
off
it
the top of our heads too. That's how that was such a formative game when I was young.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they can make games like this?
I want to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Nice. That was. I mean, it had its moments. I think they should make a movie out of it and have the.
No, stop.
No. Michael Bay should make a movie. Starring Guy Farmer of Darkness. What's his name? The actor?
He's so old. Though.
Bruce Campbell?
Bruce
I
Campbell.
would say Jason Statham.
No,
Jason Statham would be awesome.
Bruce
Jason
Campbell should
Statham
be
would have been the
good
perfect
in a
person
movie.
for Hitman. And instead, they got what was his name? The
Random
dude,
dude number 7.
No,
I don't know.
he's
he was in
Olifantastic. What is his name? Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Timothy Elephant.
Elephant. He's Justified, I think.
He is. He's alright in Justified because he's like, you know what? He's a lot like Keanu Reeves. He's great at movies where he plays a piece of wood. Like, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have to act. If he just
This is John McClane.
I'm gonna look like this whether I'm doing kung fu or shooting the undead. It doesn't matter. It's always just this.
I think there's a movie coming out that's called like Generation whatever, something like that. And
Seriously?
I saw this guy and it looked like Keanu Reeves, and I was like, that's perfect casting.
You know we're getting old when stuff like that comes out. Generation whatever.
I knew I was getting old when they played Nirvana on the classic station.
Oh my god.
Oh, so done. I turned it on and
it's
it was
classic rock, man.
Yeah, I was done. Although I don't know if you guys, we're getting a little off subject, but I don't know if you guys saw. I go to the mall. You guys still go to the mall? Is that a thing?
I go to the mall to buy shoes.
Everybody goes. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I go to the mall to eat. and then like go to Hot Topic and buy shirts because that's like the only
we're
place
grown
you
up
can
to
buy
wear shirts and Hot Topic.
Yeah, I mean,
same thing.
Yeah, I don't know
buy
what to say.
shoes in the
Yeah,
mall.
so I was going by
lockers are.
Charlotte Russe, and when I was walking by, hey, I'm married, I have a wife, give me a break. So I was walking by Charlotte Russe, and I almost want to like, I didn't take photos for this because it's nothing to do with video games, but just being old, it has something to do with that. Everything it's now like 1988 to 1994.
Yeah, it is.
Finally, I was waiting for it. It had been the 80s for so long with the super tight pants, the weird and I looked and there was a model or whatever the fuck it's called, a mannequin with the single
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall? No,
not mannequin.
Not
the movie?
actually the mannequin.
Which, by the way, is a good movie.
With overalls, with single snapped overalls.
Just a single snap overall.
Single snap overalls, tighter than they used to be, super short, and then another one with a chick with super short shorts and a flannel shirt, and I was like, and grunge is back.
It's back. Case in point, the
From
guy
outer space.
The guy at the coffee shop who was taking orders earlier today had like the freaking Back to the Future multicolored rainbow hat on and a tight little shirt on that said something about coffee. And I was like, look at this freaking kid.
I stopped at Endgame last night because Bro Pool's. You guys remember Bro Pool?
Yeah, he was there with us on New Year's.
Shout out to Gus Matos, Heroes United. So I was talking to him last night. His wife had a birthday, and there was a girl that I met, and she was wearing, and I'm not even sure she knew it, but she was wearing Michael Jackson's jacket from Thriller.
Yep.
And so she walked up, and I was like, "What's up, Michael Jackson?" And she just didn't get it at all, and I felt really old because she was super cute, but she was not age appropriate. And I was like, "Okay, well,
great."
I mean, I don't know what to do. Hopefully, you like games. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm like 20." I was like, "All right."
All right. Well. All right, I'm gonna go.
What's the next game?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna go finish digging my grave now. You be hot and young, and I'll be dumb and out of touch. Thanks.
No, we'll just give her to King Kong, man. He likes that kind of stuff.
All right, on to our next hot release.
Dylan.
Oh my God, brutal.
Dylan likes him young.
He does. Young and just.
What was this? Young and what is this?
Oh my God.
Young and just. This is not a good broadcast. You shouldn't watch this. Anybody should. Children,
explicit
ladies,
material.
hide your kids,
hide your wife.
Hide your husbands. All right.
Next game is called Chariot for Wii U.
Chariot.
It's coming out on the 8th, or it came out on the 8th, I should say. And this game is kind of a side-scroller game. It's got some platforming in there. It's got couch co-op, which to me sounds like
fucking.
Yeah,
just. Hey, baby, you want to do some couch co-op? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
It's ancient technology at this point.
Yeah, it is.
Couch co-op.
I'll show you my ancient technology.
It's when you sit next to someone, and they have a controller, and you have a controller, and both your characters are on screen at the same time, and there's like no split screen, and you play together on one screen. And it's like, oh my God.
Okay. That's pretty normal.
Like any Lego game.
Any Lego game.
Yeah. But you have this weird, I actually didn't understand it, and I don't know if he can bring the graphics up when we're talking about it. But,
we're going to talk about.
But there's, did you read about it? What is with the thing? Like, I get that's the chariot, but there's like two people, and they have this like wagon, and you're dragging it with you, and I don't even know why.
And there's a little bit of inertia that builds up, and you can do jumps together and stuff. Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
It's like an inertia-based. It's not a AAA title. It's just what came out. But yeah,
it's just what came out.
It's if you can imagine one person pulling and the other one doing a little bit of the inertia by moving up and down. So like if you're going downhill and you pull down some, you'd be like, whoa, together. It's not very complex. It's not very complex, but it does look interesting, and at least they're trying some new stuff with the Wii U. Basically, with the Wii U, you're only buying Mario or Zelda games anyway, so
yeah, I mean,
it's pretty rough to get a third.
I don't know how anybody even justifies, like, when they're sitting at home and it's like, I'm going to start a game company, and you know what I want to do? I want to make it for the Wii U.
That's right. Because I'm not trying to make any money.
$10. They're making as least much money as we are doing this shit. I'll tell you that.
Pretty much.
So rich right now from this.
So rich.
Kids out there, this is definitely what you want to do with your career.
That's right.
Absolutely. It's not about the passion. It's all about the Benjamins. And I got to show you.
Hummers, you know?
Yeah. You know what we got today? Pizza. That's what we got paid. Actually, I paid for the pizza, but most people here got pizza.
It was delicious.
It was
great. It's well worth it.
I'm going to shit that out later.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, man.
So we're going to move on to our last release because it's somewhat interesting. It's going to be the DLC for Assassin's Creed Unity.
I'm sorry, the free, like, patch?
Yeah. We're reporting on DLC at this point. So
okay.
That's what's happening.
At some point, somebody was like, man, we got to do something for free here. Why don't we wrap this up as DLC? Call it the first one. Everybody who paid for the season pass can fuck themselves, and everybody else can get it as an upgrade. If this DLC comes out and it's like 40 gigs, I'm going to be like,
Well, it does come with some new weapons and a little new combat.
Does it?
Yeah, it's
like
got
what?
a little bit of stuff. I didn't really see anything that was brand new about it. You got swords now, more swords.
More swords than
More
before.
swords.
Nah, it's just kind of the same, more of the same, man. You run around, you kill people. It's still more of the same.
Do they add
shit.
anything in multiplayer, or is
Here
it
you
just...
go.
There are
expansion
some more
for the-
co-op missions.
Here's some more co-op and
Co-op
some more
missions.
swords.
Yeah, I mean,
Swords. I still haven't even
It's
played
really
this
nice.
game. This game that everyone
they're-
tells me
It's
is
a
so
really
bad.
nice game. You should play it.
oh
That
my
was
God.
weird. That
was
turned
weird.
into English.
Yeah, what
it's a
happened?
I don't
nice
know it.
game.
What
You
are
should
doing?
play it.
What is happening there?
I don't like doing any accent except for, like Russian ones.
Do a Russian accent right now.
No,
about
can't
Unity.
do it now.
Why
Do
is-
Russian
oh,
I
it's-
accent
can't
about-
even remember
do
where
a
Russia
Russian
is in the
accent.
world
Oh
at
my
this
God.
point.
Do it about Assassin's Creed.
I'll do a terrible
About-
Russian one if you don't do it. I'll embarrass you.
I mean, you're gonna embarrass me by doing a
That'd
terrible
be
one.
bad for
You
everyone.
would have to be known as knowing him.
Like,
Yep.
let's see about
He's
Assassin's
my best
Creed,
friend,
like,
kind of. He's
I-
not to my tags,
I-
but.
What is this Ezio? I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing. You kill people.
That's what they need, an Assassin's Creed in Russia.
You
where
are
play
the
a
worst
Cajun-
person
know.
to do any
Why'd
kind
you
of
just do it?
language.
Just-
I can't do it.
Can you even do
It's
can
hard.
you do a Mexican accent?
Mexican.
Not anymore. Now I'm all like flustered.
No.
Oh
I
my
want to
God.
see you. These are at some point, some part of your family. Those were your people. So come up with a decent, at least Mexican accent.
Well, like what do you want me to talk about? It's like when you say
I don't
like,
know.
hey, say something in Japanese. You're like, something.
Sono koto wa zenzen nai desu. I just said something in
Boom.
Japanese.
Done. In your face.
I don't know what you just said.
Okay. Why do you? What is it?
I really like Slowpoke Gonzalez, and we'll
Okay.
never see his like again on
Hey.
this earth.
Okay,
Slow-mo.
fair enough. It was
The
at
most-
least a little
The
racist.
most racist mouse ever. Slow-mo. Oh, Speedy.
Oh, Speedy.
We can't get no Chorizo. It's too far away. Speedy. We can just chill right here for a while, Speedy. Let the gato get us.
Let,
Hey, come
the
on,
kitty
man.
gato, he's coming after us.
Oh,
We'll
why
have to
bother?
save us.
Yeah, yeah.
God, I
We
have
cannot
no idea
get
what you're talking
away.
You don't know about
Slow-
slow-mo?
No, I don't.
Slowpoke
All right, well,
Gonzalez.
I
was
learned.
the
I recently
worst.
realized that the reason why I'm not a particularly racist person is because I was just never exposed to it. So there's all these things that were terrible, and I guess I never saw.
Well, we all know Speedy Gonzalez. He's
I know
a mouse,
Speedy
he runs
Gonzalez.
really
Speedy
fast.
Gonzalez was the shit. Man.
Was it-
He was
is
like
it-
my hero when I was a kid.
Really? Because he wasn't 600 pounds, or could be your hero now.
Whenever I play like Red Dead Redemption, if I have to play as a Mexican character, that's the character that like 600 pounds, bandoliers around and the big ass.
Like 5 or 6 senoritas.
I'm
that
going
are
to
all
kill
wearing
some gringos. Hey!
Rosa dresses.
Which
with,
we
Dude, I
covered
fucking
this in
dig
an
it.
earlier podcast about racism and how that game had a
you
lot of
watch
stuff
that. That
going
was
on.
with that
His
last
wife
week.
is
We'll
also
plug it.
large, and she
Let's
cooks
be real. We'll plug a link
amazing.
to it.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, so I think that's
Yeah,
it,
that's
man.
it for a hot release. This has been
We-
a very dry week. I promise you, our next podcast will have some very awesome hot releases because we're doing the following week and it's gonna be dope. You're gonna love it.
Dry as Richard Dawkins' sex life up in here. That's
Oh
what
man,
it was.
it'll be like masturbating with sandpaper. Until
Yeah.
then.
Oh my god.
So
So
is
that's
that a
gonna be
thing?
fun.
I think
Like
we
fire?
I think that was in Human Centipede 2. Somebody masturbated with sandpaper in that movie.
like
Really?
compulsively.
That's
or-
what I heard. I haven't seen it. I don't watch people masturbate with
No,
sandpaper.
no.
I have an
didn't even
internet connection. I
like
don't watch
skip
stuff
through
like
that movie. I'm just like.
I'll tell you what, though, when we transition from this into our topic, which today's topic, we're going to talk about all this nonsense hacking that's been going on. I mean, I'm going to say nonsense, but maybe people have different opinions on it. First, we have a special message from the mascot of Old Dirty Gamers, who he sent us today, so we thought we would share right
He's
now.
the face of Old Dirty Gamers.
Face of Old Dirty
and now,
Gamers.
the voice.
Voice.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know. We finally have somebody in the studio who's doing stuff for us. Don't be so angry.
Don't make no
That's his message to all the hackers, actually.
That was
You know what?
his.
Don't
That
be
was-
so angry.
That was
hackers.
Burnsy the Paladin saying, "Don't be so angry, hackers." Yep. So I mean, where do we even want to start with this? I mean, I can kind of go over what we've seen. We all know that there was the Sony hacking recently. I'm not really going to go
Yeah.
over that because everybody saw that. That's the one that's been mostly publicized.
Well,
Yeah,
they're
that's-
still
that's-
talking about
That's on the
that.
news like every other day. Still.
The funny thing about that, though, is that there wasn't even as much. I don't feel like there was as much damage as they say there was. You know, there was things that they were talking about doing, and people are kind of talking shit about it. But I don't really think anybody cares. They've done enough damage to themselves at Sony Pictures by making bad movies. Like
it's more. It feels more like just dirty laundry that people are. Oh wow, that's what happens there. Oh,
but people like that shit.
Like Channing Tatum writes emails like a fucking frat boy. Ooh, surprise.
Yeah, but people like. I mean, people like that shit. Like I don't think it's gonna make them lose money. They might lose a couple of relationships in Hollywood, but honestly, I've talked about this for a long time. When you talk about actors in Hollywood, and they're like, we have to get this particular person to play this. No, you don't. There's a million people out there who look good, probably smell good on set and take showers, shave themselves regularly, and can totally act. And right now they're working at a fucking Starbucks.
I mean, honestly, this is Sony we're talking about. They're a huge company. I doubt any minor losses they take from this is gonna matter to them at all. They're not cutting staff. It's like the CEO of Sony's like, oh, it's like, oh no, the email has gone out, killing himself.
So apparently something came out where they were talking crap about Brad Pitt. Well, then he won't be any more Sony Pictures movies. But
they're talking shit about Angelina Jolie too
for a little while until they pull a dump truck full of money up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not even gonna matter. So that's great that they did that. We still don't know what's going on, but I kind of want to talk about the history of hacking over the past, year and a half. There's been a really big increase in it, and I don't know what you want to blame. I'm a software developer by trade too, so a lot of this has to do with, I think, our ability to expose data in other places and how the security works. Actually, Burns the Paladin, actually, he's in security stuff too. We have him doing an article for you, which will probably come out sometime mid next year because he's totally on it.
Look out, summer 2016.
But I've got a little bit of really badly made image here that goes over the small history of it since about mid-2013. That's when we saw the first really big uptick. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't things before then. 2011 was the first big Sony takedown, and that was basically when I think that was the first time I'd ever really heard something that was so all over the place.
Was that when they got all like the credit card?
Yeah. When they pulled it all out through there, and everybody they pulled it down for like a month and a half, and nobody could use games, and they did a whole bunch to change the infrastructure. And I would say that Sony seems to be like a really easy target, to be fair. Yeah. But that was really there was a couple of other small ones. I think something happened at Activision, but there wasn't anything else big until 2013. Now, standing in 2013, we had them almost monthly. Okay, in 2013, in July alone, Ubisoft was hacked, Konami was hacked, and Nintendo was hacked for around at least 20 to 35,000 affected users each. Okay, and I think we've got the graphic up on the screen so you can follow along with this. And then August and December through 2013, we had Crytek, League of Legends, which is actually Riot, and then Blizzard's Battle.net all had massive hacks. Crytek lasts like 18,000, but that was mostly just like user login information. They hadn't done any sales online, so there wasn't anything beyond like a phone number and an address that was taken. League of Legends has a ton of people. They had like 120,000 people who were affected. And then Blizzard, everybody was affected because there was a massive shortage. And anytime there was a massive shortage, pretty much everybody couldn't play it. And Battle.net was down for like 2 days.
Nice.
So all the people who were crying about playing the 2 games that they bring out couldn't play those games. Now in 2014, which I apologize, I realized after the fact that the graphic that you guys are looking at on the screen, it's the green bar, should say 2014. Somehow I messed that up in Google Docs. I'm sorry. I'll do better. We had a little bit of a lull because Christmas ended, which I think is what's happening right now. A little bit of lull, a League of Legends. So the first 2 months there wasn't anything big. Okay. Well, in March, we had EA for 22,000. In May, Bohemia released somebody hacked Bohemia and released the source code for DayZ online, so you could just download the source code and change the game. In August, the PSN was hacked. December was Destiny and GTA 5. Where GTA 5, I guess there was a bunch of hacks that people did where like basically it made the online money completely useless because people were just getting it for free and stealing it from other people. November was the Sony Pictures attack, which whatever again, and then Call of Duty, 2K Studios, Xbox, PSN, Final Fantasy, a couple of other ones that aren't on here were all hacked in succession. We have a graph also that I can put up, that he'll put up on the screen, and you can see the slow trend that starts from the beginning of 2013 until now, and it's almost exponential. It's getting a little ridiculous, and so, I mean, in a lot of ways, some of the hackers say that they're doing this stuff because what they want is to get exposure to the fact that everybody's security is really bad and we have to fix it. But then you have other people like Lizard Squad, which I think you could probably talk a little bit more about, so I'm not mouthpiecing this whole conversation.
Word.
Where basically they came out and they said, oh, we did this for our own reasons, but we're also doing it to kind of showboat what we could do for cash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, originally what they came out with, and the funny thing about them too is they're the ones who took down Xbox Network what was it, late November, early December.
Yeah.
And they actually came out and they said, hey, we're going to wait until Christmas. That's when we'll be back. And sure enough, they came back. And the funny thing about that too is, and I heard this on a video, and I forget who I watched it of, but if you see it and it was you, let us know and we'll credit you. But he said, they told Xbox when, and PSN to a certain degree, when they were going to hack them. And, these multi-million-dollar companies, I think that's pretty safe to say, still let it happen. So, Lizard Squad has their own thing, but they came out and they said something like, we're doing this so that people spend more time with their families at Christmas. So they were all being kind of...
Which isn't what happened.
Dickheads about the whole thing, and then it came out. Well, we're also selling the code in which you can use the DDoS people, and it's kind of all been disingenuous, and whether or not what their actual motives are for it is all very hazy.
What's your impressions of Finest Squad versus Lizard Squad versus Anonymous? Do you want to go over? I know you read a little bit about that, like the order in which people were going back and forth, just the drama of the whole thing.
Yeah, so Lizard Squad said they were going to do this. Finest Squad came out and said they were going to try and stop them, as well as Anonymous, I believe.
A smaller splinter.
A smaller splinter part of Anonymous said that they were going to try and stop them. They weren't able to stop them, but they were all doing. They've all been doing some interviews with each other, and it all comes out as very juvenile in the interview. They did it for. Drama Alert, I believe, was the video series. This guy keeps getting on these hackers to come on, and they go through. They have voice modulation and everything like that. But
of course, because they don't want the world to discover them.
And you would think, these guys kind of self-style themselves as kind of revolutionary. We're fighting the system, and back you would have somebody be like, "I have a dream." That was him being a revolutionary. Another, people saying great thing. I regret I only have one life to give for my country.
Like they were saying that stuff, or are you saying?
Well, these are revolutionaries.
When
you think of revolutionaries, they're kind of at least you have one good orator in that.
So it's not the man. I'm gonna fuck you up. Wait till I get inside your leak codes.
Oh, we're going to their networks are very we're just.
So you think they need a spokesperson?
They need someone who can speak for them in an eloquent manner. These people just sounded like a bunch of teenagers who were just like, "Oh, that sucks, bro. Yo, you suck, bro. My dad will beat up your dad." Like,
and
you're not a revolutionary, bro.
Like them going back and forth with each other. The term "real mature guy" was thrown out there, and it's just like, God damn, like.
So what if they just kind of
even fun to listen to?
What if they put together random clips? You guys have seen that clip of Captain Picard singing.
Make it snow.
Make it
so. Make it so. Make it so.
Make it
Let
so.
it snow. Yeah. So what if they put together something like a clip of things from Obama talking for them?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We would like you to stop.
We would like you to stop doing what you're doing to America. It's not working for us in today's world.
Here we go.
Well, I've only seen maybe one or two speeches where Obama actually came out and was like, no, and throwing things through glass.
Wait, you've seen that ever?
It wasn't. It was close. It was kind of close. Like maybe the Key and Peele skit where they had like Obama's like, oh, I don't think this is good, and then was it Peele goes on and says, no, you gotta stop this shit right now.
Why did he turn on? Was a Texan Obama there?
I don't know.
What you going for?
I have no idea.
Do you have a personal relationship with Obama that we don't know about?
Is that George W. Obama speech you're doing right there?
Great. So then maybe you can explain how we're going to pay to give everybody 2 years of free college, because I'd love to hear that. Does that come out of your paycheck?
What? I don't know.
You didn't hear about that?
I just want to take advantage of it. I got 3 kids.
Said like a real Democrat. I just want it.
Put my kids
honestly,
through college.
You didn't hear about that?
I did hear about that.
I heard about that.
I
want to have the discussion. I don't mean to get off on this, politics or whatever. But to be fair, I feel like even if we're just using airwaves to state, I would love it if everybody got an AA for free. I would need to know how we're going to pay for that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he intends.
Because I'm not okay with just charging everybody else in the country. I'm like, that's serious cash, bro. That's like $20K a person, everybody. So how does everybody pay $20K for themselves into the system?
Maybe Lizard Squad.
Hey, yeah, that would be great. Taxing. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Lizard Squad, if you could maybe hack China, get us some free cashola to pay for college, that'd be great. We'll even send you to college for English degrees.
Yeah, word.
You can
English communication.
Communication would be great. Comm degrees.
I tell you how we're going to pay for it.
How's that?
National legal marijuana.
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
Man, actually,
legalize it and tax it.
You gotta look out. We have a marijuana smoking person running the camera right now, so I don't know if he's gonna be too happy if we start taxing him for shit. He might be a little pissed off.
Dude, he'd be too high to be buying a powder.
The only reason why the camera is so stable right now is because of the marijuana. If it wasn't, his hands would be shaking from when he was in the war.
I'm dead serious though. You want to know where the money's gonna come from? They always said you get a black man in that White House. Next thing you know, we'll be smoking reefer all over the place. Well,
is that a thing? Like maybe if Snoop Dogg.
Where I'm from, they say that.
Can you imagine if Snoop Dogg was president?
Legalize marijuana.
God, that would be the worst thing ever.
For everyone.
Oldies for everybody.
There's going to be an oldie in every refrigerator in America.
Fucking Willie Nelson, vice president. Jesus Christ.
All I want to do is pay nothing and get free stuff like weed.
Hey, I just think.
How do you smoke weed? Is it something like that?
That's not how you smoke weed. That's how you smoke something else. I don't know what you're smoking where you need to go like this.
You have to tickle the balls. You have to tickle the balls. That's what that is.
What are you doing?
We don't.
I don't know. I don't know how to smoke.
I don't know anything about smoking weed.
But I want to get back on the hacking. I want to get back on topic of something I want to bring up about some of the hacks that have been going on.
Regale us.
Yes.
Sir.
Well, Channing Tatum is playing a hacker in an upcoming movie.
No. That's Josh Hutchins.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not Channing Tatum. I get those guys mixed up all the time. All you white people look the same.
He waited all day to make that joke. All day to make that joke.
I was like,
how
long am I going to wait?
Talking about this.
How long am I going to wait before I bring up the fact?
He is the most dreamy hacker I've ever seen.
He is.
I got to tell you, funnily enough, you say that. When I did exchange to Japan a couple times I went over there, I actually had someone tell me that he thought he had a hard time telling us apart because all of us looked the same, which is funny to me.
Thanks.
Because we weren't even the same body type. Like I was a big dude, this other guy was like tall and skinny, and I was like, even if our faces look the same, which we don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm not really sure how you could confuse us.
Dude, people say some ridiculous things to me all the time. So I've been told I look like Will Smith. I'm like, what? Like seriously?
You know, and one of the things that brings up this isn't a week on racism, but when you're talking about things like racism and stuff in games, a lot of that you have to remember. I think people forget about this, but a lot of our games come from Asia, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, but as a culture, Asians are a lot more racially exclusive than what we are, and so their notion of whether or not a black person in an anime has giant fish lips for no reason. Oh my gosh! Go watch it.
It's so ridiculous.
Go watch the worst I've ever seen, and I don't have a clip for this. I'm sorry, I don't even know if we would have the copyright rights to show you the clip for it. But Blood the Last Vampire, the very first anime movie that came out, it was like a 2-hour movie, and it takes place on the American Air Force Base. Did you remember seeing that?
I remember that.
I think so. Yeah.
Very popular anime.
There's one black dude,
yes,
and when the dance is, I think there's like a dance going on or something.
Yeah, there was a dance.
And you go outside, it's like a high school dance because it takes place in high school. Obviously, they have to find a way for this chick who forever looks like a high school girl to always be in a schoolgirl outfit.
Because it's just so ridiculous.
God forbid she's in I don't know, like a nice pair of pants.
But God forbid she went to JCPenney one day.
She goes outside and she gets. I don't want to say accosted because I think people don't know what that word means. No offense, audience, but she gets pretty much accosted by this random security guard.
Accosted by Akasha.
No, the security guard. The security guard is in fact black, but he looks like basically a walking watermelon with fish lips on the front. It's the most horrible. I'm not really racially sensitive. Like when I say things, I say I get it. You're just being. If you watch the episode, I usually take the other side of it. I tell people should just get over it. Whatever.
Oh yeah, he does have.
I feel like we're in a modern day, and everybody, the more racially charged you are, the worse you're going to make it off.
This is gonna be our second hashtag. It's called #Get Over It.
Yeah, right there. Because two people will wear that shirt, but but I saw that, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that you could have come up with a better looking black person than that. And I talked to a Japanese person, and their honest thought was that most black people look like that.
Yep.
I was like, wow. Wow.
Yep. Oh, they don't?
So hackers, second thing you can do is you can go out there and help push racially charged societies to understand that not everybody looks like one person.
Yeah, why don't you go hack BET? Do that. Let's stop that.
What if we came up with other positive things that they could affect via hacking? What's something else?
Legitimately mean go hack BET. The program is
BET?
BET is terrible. BET fucking sucks. BET is maybe one of the...
has better black programming than BET.
What does?
Adult Swim?
Adult Swim.
What does Adult Swim have?
No, Adult Swim
the
doesn't.
Boondocks and Black Dynamite.
I mean,
is Black Dynamite a thing? I thought it was just a movie.
No,
it's a series.
It's a series on
Is it a cartoon?
animated
Yeah,
series.
it's pretty
on
great
Adult
series. I
Swim.
watch it.
Now I know what I'm watching today.
It is fucking
We'll look it up.
amazing.
It is. The Michael Jackson episode is really good. Yeah, I guess because BET has total garbage programming for black people. We go on there and look bad, and it's always like wife shows now. It's kind of like VH1. It's like Real Housewives of the bad part of Hollywood. And they go on there and they fight each
Central
other.
Hollywood.
They get tattoos that say "Trust No Bitch" on their arm and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, dude. The Trust No Bitch is like a whole movement. It's from women.
Trust no bitch.
From
Trust
women
no bitch.
saying to other women, "Trust no bitch," because we don't trust each other because it's BET and it looks bad. The best thing BET ever played was the Black Panther motion comic at 3 a.m. for 12 minutes for like 2 months in the middle of summer in 2010. That was the best thing they ever did. All they've done is make black people look stupid and give us garbage entertainment, and that's why I don't watch movies with mostly black cast.
BET and Destiny are
Didn't
right next to
BET
each other on
make Huey
Terry's list.
Freeman like into an idiot?
They did. They did.
After
They made
a
fun of
week
it
straight?
on. It's just BET. It's just awful. And
All
you
right,
know
what
what?
about
It's
in
owned by a
games?
white man. It's owned by a white man.
What about it? What about in games?
BET sucks. The game. All right.
Jesus.
I
Is the
really
game
don't
on
like
there?
it. It's really bad. And what, racism in video games? What we want to cut out?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to, I'm just saying there are probably things that if we were going to go
BET,
hack,
not Sony.
There you go. Hashtag that shit.
Hashtag.
I don't know, man.
BET.
you know what's funny is we
hard
would
to-
normally come on here, and I feel like one of the reasons we work is that when we have a show is that I'm usually on the right side, and Eric's on the left side, and Terry's sort of in between, telling us to shut up. Not physically, but that's kind of where it is. And the funny thing about it is I don't think any one of us thinks this is a good idea.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about the rebellious spirit, doing things like stick it to the man when they're doing
Thinking
something.
about doing something I'm not actually doing.
Yeah, but I love that. I love
Very
that.
American. Very
Hey,
American.
that is
Yeah.
very American. We all want to
Yeah,
change
it
the
is
world
now. It didn't used to
right
be.
after we're done watching American Idol, the latest season of Glee. Or I got this thing on Netflix I got to do. Right after we take care of light bill and do it. We get right to it, changing the world.
Yeah.
That's why the Occupy movement was exactly nothing, because that's
Oh,
what we
man.
do. Nothing.
Actually, last night
Sit somewhere
I
and do
took my
shit.
kids to go get frozen yogurt, and at like Menchie's, and they have the different colored spoons.
Menchie's?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Menchie's frozen
I've
yogurt?
never heard of Menchie's.
No, I mean that sounds kind of racially charged to me. A menchie? Like
Why?
what a mensch?
I didn't know that.
What a mensch,
That's
what a
a
mensch,
Jewish
what a
term.
mensch,
I
what a
know,
money, man.
yeah.
Good
Yeah,
mensch.
but
I didn't even,
it's a
I didn't
good
make the
thing.
connection.
It's a
I have
good
no
thing.
idea why they call it Menchie's. I got my key thing just to make sure I got the name right.
Is it actually
I'll
called?
check
it's
with
called
my Jewish
Smilage.
friend.
I got my Smilage. See?
It's
Well
called
done.
My Smilage?
It's called My Smilage.
Okay, it's not Menchie's.
Not
No,
Menchie's.
it's called Menchie's, but this is my Smilage card, which every time I go there, they go like this, and they're like, "Wow, you eat a lot of frozen yogurt."
Okay.
So you're
At
at
least you're regular.
frozen yogurt and
So we got
Yeah.
frozen yogurt, and they have different color spoons. They have green spoons and they have pink spoons. And
Is there a
I have
difference?
no, not at all.
Okay.
It's just one's one color, one's the other color.
well, the pink spoon's clearly for queers.
I had my daughter and my two sons with me. We went through the line.
Welcome to Menchie's.
We went through the line. He gave us, you get your shit. You pay for it. You put it on a scale. And
Yeah, that's
they're like,
like
oh, you're
every
a
other
fat body.
place. Yeah.
And then he gives you your spoon, and then we walked out. When we got in the car, my daughter looked at her spoon, and she looked at her brother's spoon. She's like, "Hey boys, what color spoon do you guys have?" Green. And she looked at hers, and it was pink. And I looked at her, and I was like, "All right, Ash."
It's like, oh,
Are
I
you
got to have
pissed
the pink
now.
one.
And she's like, I'm like, do you want to go back inside there and yell at the guy for perpetrating? And it was just some teenage boy who was at the register. And I was like, do you want to yell at him for perpetrating gender stereotypes? She's like, I mean, it doesn't even need to. No, I don't want to go back inside. And I'm like, okay, there comes a point where you have to stop yelling about it if you're never gonna fucking do anything about it. And she loves to be really
I
pissed
just
off
find that
about
really
it.
ironic, huh?
I don't think it's ironic. Oh, I see what you mean. Don't. Way to go, bro. We haven't told you about that. That's a new slogan. It's going on a t-shirt.
Way to go, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
We'll
did I
talk
do?
about that
Talk
later.
about that later.
Anyway,
That's off
When's
camera
later?
stuff.
Jesus.
Later's after this.
That's off camera stuff.
Yeah, but so I don't know. And this is where I would come in, and this is probably exactly the answer that you think I would get. I think if I had a daughter and she said, I think that's whatever, I would say you have no idea the population of how often people give spoons to chicks versus boys. You would have to take, I think, a whole week, and you might have just randomly got one. It's a 50-50 freaking chance. Let's not get angry about shit that doesn't matter. And you know what? Then on top of that, I would say also, because I don't really give a shit about that, you should just accept that probably a lot of girls like the pink spoons over the green ones. If you don't, then you should say, can I have a green spoon, please? And he'd give you one. Or you could go in there and ruin some fucking teenage boy's goddamn afternoon.
So-
but chances are,
We should have the
Chances are he
hackers
doesn't
attack
even
this
know.
restaurant, is what you mean, and teach them a lesson.
Menchie's.
Yeah.
You don't attack him for anything if we're coming up for a shit name for a fucking yogurt restaurant.
Exactly. That sounds like a venereal disease.
Yeah.
Oh, my Menchie's fucking killing me, man.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus, that's like something you do in GTA 5.
My Menchie's really active.
Give that hooker a Menchie.
Oh, my Menchie's inflamed right now.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Just like red.
Well, that's what the yogurt's for, to help cool it down a little bit. Exactly.
What about if we were to ask hackers to do things to companies to teach them a lesson when they do horrible shit? Like, what if they took down Destiny for a week?
That'd be great. And then they could say, hey, we'll bring it back up when you make a shotgun that's worthwhile in the game. It does something.
What if they did something like that to a game like Destiny, where people are kind of...
By the way, I'm not
addicted
directly
to-
suggesting this. Actually, that's not true. If somehow somebody from, like, Bungie figured out we existed and wanted to send us a personal email, great.
Great, now we
At this
got
point,
your
we
email,
use the
dick.
exposure, you know what I'm saying? So...
but a game like Destiny, which seems to be kind of, unless you're that one guy from that one website who named a Game of the Year, but it does.
That was
Games
Games Radar.
Game that's kind of-
GamesRadar.com.
Like,
I can't even...
Games Fuck Games
Stop
Radar.com.
seagulling.
You guys suck.
Jesus.
Everything you do is
But a game
wrong.
like that's kind of hanging on by the tips of its fingernails, and you brought it down for a week, and people are like, I'm just gonna move over to like Call of Duty now. You think it would kill something like that?
No, not at all. I would like to actually
because I think we
counter
could
that.
turn down World of Warcraft for a year and turn it back on, and people would come back and be like, "Oh, is it back now? Can I click the quest some more?"
To be
But I
honest,
feel like the quality of a game like World of Warcraft has always kind of been there. I don't know. I don't play it, but people play it because they still like playing it. But like Destiny has shitloads of glitches, and it's acknowledged that it has shitloads of glitches. And people actively say, like, I don't really like playing this game, but I really want this fucking gun or something, you know. And then it goes down, and you're like, fuck, I can't play it. I guess I'll play Battlefield 4 now, or I guess I'll fucking...
I don't know. I think
I gotta counter that argument, man.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work that way.
I'm gonna let you do that. Sorry.
So Eric doesn't play Destiny. Eric doesn't play anything that's not made by an indie developer. So his games he plays are most likely fun. You might hear about it in our article sometime.
I played a lot of zombies last night. Nazi zombies. Sorry, okay.
Yeah, that was originally made by an indie developer.
Yep.
It's an expansion.
Exactly. So, in my experience, I play with a lot of Destiny gamers. We're on the mics together a lot, and a whole bunch of them actually own the latest Call of Duty game. And they say, you know what? I played through the campaign. It got really, really boring. And now I'm back to playing Destiny because at least there's new stuff for me to do and get. I mean, I can go around and Twitch shoot people all day, but at least in this, there's community. I can talk to you guys. Well, we're sure we're doing the same mission we've done a million times, but at least I can show off this new sniper rifle I got to, and I leveled it up, and you're all like, oh, that's cool. I wish I had that. It's actual, like, interaction with other people, and it's not just Twitch shooters, which to me aren't that much fun, but I could probably get better at it than a lot of people who are watching this because I'm amazing. But I know a lot of people that came over from Call of Duty, and if you brought down
terrible.
If you brought down Destiny for a week, I don't think they would necessarily go back. I think they'd just be super pissed off. There'd be a lot of emails, and they would do whatever it takes to get it back up within like 72 hours. 72 hours, I think, is the maximum amount of time you could bring it down. Hear that, hackers? I say you can only bring it down for 72 hours.
Whoa.
Prove me wrong.
I think I just wonder, like, what the benefit, like, where they can really help society. Like, the one thing, and this is again not game related. I feel like we got off the topic a lot of that today, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
They're trying to take on ISIS or something now. Did you read about that?
No.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. They're doing stuff against Muslim targets now because of.
I did think I heard something about that. Didn't
And
a couple of them find? Did they find a couple of these guys, the actual ISIS guys? Like they're looking into this.
Oh, I don't know.
I hear they are at least trying to. I hear
They
ISIS
always are. There's
responses.
always going to be somebody else who's going to step up.
You know what? Like Anonymous, whatever part of
Oh, that's who it was. Anonymous was doing.
Oh, how did you get
Anonymous. Well, Anonymous went after the cartels at one point. They're like, "We're coming for you, cartels." In Spanish, though, like, "We're coming for you, cartels." And then
that was
and
not
then,
in Spanish. That was in Spanish accent, sadly.
Just,
Sorry for our
Mexican,
viewership in Mexico that checks us out.
Yeah,
but they said that they were going to go after some of the cartels down in Mexico City, I think was the area.
Yep.
And they found 2 of them and flayed them alive or made them disappear or something like that. And then Anonymous said, you know what, we're not doing it anymore.
Yep.
So, good luck to them. ISIS, I guess, is only over there, but maybe everywhere else. Paris, maybe.
That was what they did it for. They said they were doing it because they recently blew up. You read about that, right? They blew up that cartoonist place in Paris. Have you been reading the news?
I'm very up on that.
So that was why they did it. Was they said that there needed to be retaliation for the blockage of freedom of speech, and so they're looking up Muslim-related hopefully Muslim terrorist related, not just Muslim
Muslims in
organizations.
general.
There's
That's
like wrong with
ridiculous.
Muslims.
Like or Islam.com.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. And they're taking those
MuslimVillage.com.
things down, like some of this video streaming services that they use to put out some of their messages and stuff. So that's where I say
Be a good.
that's what I was going to say. Like I don't,
guess.
weeding out extremism maybe on online media outlets. Like I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, I don't know if I can really support it because I don't know what they're doing to it, and I don't like to just outwardly say it's okay to do this, but in theory it sounds all right. And so that's when I say applying to video games, there has to be a good way to call to action things where you would take somebody down if they aren't doing it right, even if you're doing something as easy as DDoS attacks. Well, I don't want to say easy, but DDoS attacks happen and they can go away. As a matter of fact, we have a graphic, there's a map that we could put up that shows, and I don't know if you guys looked at this, but there's something that's called it's like you do Norse hack map, just do a search in Google. I don't remember actually what the actual URL for it is, but if we've got the graphic up right now, then what you can see is that this is basically what the web page looks like. It's a map of the world, and it reminds me of Domination from what I'm talking about from the old Bond movie where they're playing Die Another Day or something. Or maybe what was it?
No, it was the one before that, wasn't it?
Never say never again.
Never say
never again. And they're in there and they're playing this game and it's like pew 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 pew. And it sounds kind of like Tron, but it's in 3D. It's really bad graphics, but it looks like that. So you have this black map with the whole world, and it actually actively shows pings that are coming from suspected and likely hack attacks. Well, when we were putting the show together this morning, I had it up and took a screenshot, which is what everybody's looking at. Nice. And if you guys get a chance to go look this up, you should look it up. There was a DDoS attack going on while I looked.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
And it was going on, I think it was like St. Louis or something like that. And it was crazy to see because out of nowhere, it was just like watching the World War III happen. There was like 1,000 missiles and they were all coming from China.
Oh my God.
And it was just like attacking St. Louis and then some from Russia and then Brazil and then back to China. And it went on. And what I hadn't really considered, and I should have, being a computer professional, was that the same IP was not used more than 6 times in a row.
Really?
So part of the problem when you're trying to stop a DDoS attack is weeding out, without shutting down the whole place, or without just basically turning it off. They could have just disconnected themselves from China.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to just basically stop allowing people in China to do things, how do you stop it? And the only thing I could think of is if we just permanently stopped the servers from connecting. Like if you're in China and you use the Sony network, you can only play with Chinese people. And that would mean that, if somebody did it, they couldn't do it somewhere else. Or if it starts to get a large amount of things coming in from China, you just shut down the connections from China. But then you are not supporting the whole idea of international connectivism.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, how hard is it? I don't know anything about code and HTML.
Well, neither one of those two things has anything to do.
I don't know how all that
It's all
works.
website building.
No,
Your nose hairs
those
are showing.
packets.
Just ask your question.
If you HTML
all
is kind of
them
used for writing
packets and
articles.
stuff like that. But how hard is it would it be to just cut off China for a while?
It wouldn't be that hard. It wouldn't be that hard
would
because
lose
all IPs are blocked, like in blocks. It shouldn't be blocked like cut off, but they're in blocks, right? So when you have a certain number of IPs, I can tell you based on the IP what global location they come from. That's kind of the point. Now, if you're using IVP6, it's even more granular because it's based off the hex code, so it's not the number, the one that you're used to saying like 192.168.0.1, which is before anyone flames, I realized that that's your home IP. But it's not in the same format, and so you can get a lot more granular. It looks more like a MAC address. But if you wanted to, you can actually take blocks X through Z and just say these are all blocked, and you would get no traffic from China. Now, granted, there was also some coming from Russia and some from Brazil, so if that happened, you'd have to temporarily block them all off. But what does that mean? I mean, is that a good idea? Is that not a good idea? I don't know.
Well,
but
I mean,
I was
wouldn't
going
that
to
be
say
just like what cutting off the finger to save the body or something like that?
maybe, but I don't know what the ethics are there. And what would happen in terms of your sales and connectivity. If people in China are just like, well, you're going to cut us off for a day? Well, F you then. Because it could happen every other day.
True.
It's not like it happens one day and it doesn't happen for a month. It can happen any other time. And I was thinking about in terms of the physicality of describing how a DDoS attack works. If we had 100 people stand over here and they all had 5 golf balls and they all threw them at you randomly at different times, and then you're like, stop that from happening.
Just leave.
Well, yeah, that would be it, right?
Yeah.
Shut the service down on your own. But if you shut the service down on your own, they won.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. So it's a very difficult thing. You can one at a time take IPs, but since a lot of IPs are masked, they're proxied. A lot of the IPs might come from a group, especially in China. You have like a whole building where you have 100 people who are all playing, Ragnarok Online or something, and
So much fun.
and one IP, one sub some net IP from there as doing this stuff. If you cut them off, you cut off a whole building, which is a very Republican approach to solving a problem.
Attack.
We just stop everything that could possibly.
Yeah, stop eating Chinese food. Stop watching.
Yeah.
Stop remove every kung fu movie.
We'll
from
remove
Netflix.
saturated fat from all food so nobody eats it. Well,
it's not Kung Pao chicken. Yeah. It's George Washington chicken.
That's right. These are freedom fries, my friend.
Freedom fries, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's what they sell in. Not Rapture. What's the name of the city in BioShock Infinite?
Columbia.
Columbia.
Yeah, that's what they sell.
Columbia, the greatest city,
Thomas
floating
Jefferson
above America.
Columbia.
Perfect example of
Columbia.
So what do we want to have for takeaways from this?
Well, one of the things, one thing I wanted to bring up before we go, and particularly speaking about sending packets from overseas and stuff like that, one of the things that they said, or that's recently come out, that people have been saying how Lizard Squad was able to achieve what they were able to achieve as far as like power goes, is they hacked home routers and used those in the attack.
Sure.
So.
Which is very easy to do.
Which is what I was reading. It's like, what is it?
Well, easy meaning
routers aren't patched very, very often and very vulnerable.
Most house routers don't use firewalls, and you could get a router that does it, but house routers are $40. Yep. A router that's going to have decent firewall protection, or if you bought yourself a Barracuda that does
Barracuda
email thing that would put you into a server and let you kind of have your own. So you'd end up having a whole rack, like every people in every house. And to me, I kind of feel like maybe that's something you could have a firewall infrastructure in a building, like if you had an apartment building. But when you're in a specific house, we could ask Cox to take care of it, but you know what's going to happen? Your prices are going to go up because Cox is going to they're going to get a whole new security team. They're going to have much more infrastructure. Yep. They're never going to say, you know what we'll do? We'll make $3 million a year less. We'll do that.
Yep.
And you still won't get a la carte channels. God,
no. And you don't really have any options because even though they say that you do, what do we have here? We have CenturyLink and Cox. And Cox is the better choice. CenturyLink is bones. It just is. Until Google Fiber comes in, but they'll probably shut us down, but that's fine. So what other kind of takeaways do we have from this? I mean,
the takeaways is that these hackers, they aren't really who they're projecting themselves to be as far as revolutionaries or rebels. I mean, we're all rebels compared to them. Each one of us is somehow different from what the expectation is.
We'll talk shit live on the air and actually let you see our faces.
There we go. No shame here. We're not anonymous.
No.
We're not. That's they just make me sick, really. I wish they did something useful. They really do. Make me sick, honestly.
Hey, we're hosted at GoDaddy, so we don't have a lot of security either.
Hey, no, it's true. It's kind of like attacking your own culture right there. Hackers aren't by definition,
it was kind of an asshole thing
from nerds or the gaming culture.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like one of us is turning against us.
Particularly the thing on Christmas seemed like a real asshole.
We're going to show them by attacking ourselves. No, exactly. What are you going to do now, buddy?
Yeah. That's like me being like, hey, I'm going to teach the government a lesson by going and punching my friend in the face right now. And they can't even stop me.
He does that.
That's true. I mostly break stools when people defeat difficult bosses on their first try for seemingly no reason.
So I guess what I would say is that we don't have a lot of infrastructure. So if you wanted to take us down, that's fine. But our personal opinion, I think, between all of us is I'm not even saying that there isn't something to be said for cyber activism.
Yeah.
But maybe being a little more responsible with it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And if any hackers want to contact us and talk to us and kind of work with us, from me personally, all I got to say is, I don't fuck with you. You little stupid ass hacker ain't fucking with you. I got a million trillion things I'd rather fucking do.
All right. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for seeing us again this week. We'll look out for next week.
I do want to talk about some stuff we're doing next week, though.
Okay.
On next week's episode, Eric is going to be handling our Stop Seagulling. He's going to bring up another article from another one of these sites.
And we're going to start doing that regularly.
Yes, that's going to be a part of every show going forward.
We're going to take on some crazy big companies who are doing lots of things that they're not going to give a shit we're talking.
Exactly.
It's fine.
And there'll be more AAA titles will come out and we'll review those. And
Metacritic, I'm coming for that ass.
And Richard's asking to assemble a $10,000 computer right in front of you and show you how it works. That's going to happen. But we're just going to be bringing some more content to you next week. Just get ready for that, folks.
Yeah, look out for the whole year, actually. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. We're looking to fill up our Twitch schedule. We're going to get a schedule coming up. Making sure we can find people who don't sleep, me included, who can get up there and do some funny stuff. I don't know if anybody caught it last night. We had a couple people on there last night just bullshitting, doing some Dark Souls stuff. So we're going to bring that to you. Trying to be where we can be. So bring it to you. And we're gonna be kickstarting too. Anybody who sees this, just so you know, probably mid to the end of this year, we're gonna do a Kickstarter. So hopefully we'll have a lot of people support us, looking to help us out. We're gonna expand, bring you.
You know what's a good name for this episode? Let's go bring it in. So stretch. I think maybe War Games. Episode 8, War Games.
War Games.
War Games.
Yep.
Lord of War.
And thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to this channel on
Absolutely.
YouTube.
Yep. And aren't you supposed to be doing something different?
I'll be have something come up.
On what's the other one that you're doing?
The Tumblers.
Tumblers.
Oh, the Tumblers.
The
Cool.
Tumblers.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
it's actually
We'll
going to
get
be
you
a
an icon for
Batman vehicle, not necessarily.
Oh,
a
I see.
Batmobile.
I see. Not a social media thing, but a Batman vehicle
vehicle.
A
called
Batman
a
vehicle
Tumbler.
called the Tumbler.
That
you go
is
down like this.
Reference.
Pew pew.
That's
And then you
Comedy.
come back up.
Laughs.
That's the stuff.
Love it.
That's really pointed. That just happened. That just came out. So
We'll see you guys next week.
see you next
Thanks a
week.
lot.
Peace.